Welcome friends, it's Ray. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's video is a part of a hop over on Instagram for the Kendra card challenge number 11. Our theme today is back to school teacher gifts. If you're not familiar with the Kendra card challenge, I will link to details in the description bar below. So you can join us over on Facebook to learn how to play along with the challenge and enter to win some amazing prizes. Kendra provides a free downloadable template that you can use to make up to 15 cards from 6 pieces of 6x6 pattern paper. I will be using sketch number 15 today. So today I'm going to be making an easel card with a post-it note holder. I'm using the Simple Vintage Life in Bloom collection by Simple Stories. So I have the 12x12 coordinating paper, and I'll be using a 6x8 paper pad and some ephemera. And I picked out several pieces of the paper pad, but only ended up using only a couple of pieces. For my card base, I brought in a Hero Arts Amethyst cardstock. That's 8.5 by 11. Cut it in half. I cut one of the halves in half to get two 4.25 by 5.5 pieces. Now let's score. I take the 4.25 by 11 piece of my cardstock and score at 5.5 and then at 2 3/4. And you end up with a Z fold that looks like this. Now take one of the 4.25 by 5.5 pieces and cut it down to 4.25 by 3 3/4 inches and score at 3 1/8 inch. So now I'm bringing in my 6x8 pattern paper piece, and I love this this design, and I wanted to maintain as much of it as possible. I started by cutting it down to 4.25 by just over 5.5, and then I am slowly trimming it to get it down to 5.5. Here I want to leave a border on the left and right side of my card front. So I am trimming down, going to trim this down to 4, but I didn't want to trim it off of each side. So I am going down the strip where the film strip is, and cutting that off, or we'll cut some of it off. And then I am also trimming out from the black in between each of my, I will call them sentiment images, just to get this down to 5.5 tall and 4 inches wide. So that's what I'm doing, just trimming off some of the excess so that I maintain the integrity of the image, but I get it down to the size that I need. So now I will start assembling my card. I got the inspiration for this project from a YouTube video I saw by Connie Stewart of Simply Simple Stamping. I will link to her video below. She has a free template in case you're interested. I have made an easel card before, but haven't attached a post-it note holder, so that is unique to this design. So I'm finishing up the front of my focal panel, bringing in my trimmer and just trimming off just a little of the edge there. I've picked out a few ephemera pieces, and for my large floral here, I did partially pop that up on foam tape. So I used foam tape on the back of all that's not going to be overhanging. So I'm letting this overhang the card on the right. And then I am bringing in a few of the butterflies from the ephemera packet, and I'm making sure that I don't cover the words on my front here, card front, when I place them on. So this last butterfly, I am just putting partial foam tape on the bottom edges, and then we'll put liquid glue on the top. I am bringing in a sentiment by Paper Rose Studios, just a note, and I'm lining this up in my Misty. I ended up cutting this sentiment down, and I can always put it back together if I wanted to. Initially, I was going to mask it off, but decided to cut instead. I brought in my acetate grid panel so that I could line the sentiment up just where I wanted it, and I want it really close to the bottom. And I also cut from that coordinating color packet for this collection. I cut a 4 by 5¼ inch pink piece. So here I am adding liquid glue to the back of my pink panel, and we'll go ahead and affix this down to the base of my easel panel. I add my acrylic block over top to apply pressure while that adheres. And then I'm bringing in my double-sided tape. This is 1/8 of an inch tape, and just adding it to the top of this panel, right above my 2 3/4 fold line. I will partially release the tape and then add liquid glue just to the exposed areas so that I have more time to affix my focal panel to this top. And it's just going to line up evenly here. And then once I get it lined up the way I want it, I will then go ahead and remove the rest of that release paper from my double-sided tape. And this is shaping up to be an easel card. Look how easily this is coming together. Okay, so the last piece of this design is the Post-it note holder. And so I'm bringing in that 4 1/4 by 3 1/4 cardstock. I folded this and then folded it on itself. And now we'll make another score line. So we did not pre-score that second score line on purpose so that the holder itself fits over the actual size of the Post-it notes that I'm using. Since the Post-it notes, Post-it note sizes may vary. So then we scored it after pressing it over or folding it over so that it fits. And now here I'm adding double-sided tape to the top, and then just before you get to the last score line. So then I partially release that and add liquid glue in between. And then we'll place my Post-it note tape face down onto my cardstock and then butt it up against the cardstock or the post-it note tape and seal it. I removed the rest of my release paper and used my bone folder to reinforce my crease. I cut a 2 7/8 by 2 7/8 inch square from that same pink pattern paper cardstock, flipped it over to show the green inside, and then affix that to the top with liquid glue. Then I'm bringing in some more of that ephemera, and we'll glue this down flat to the top of my post-it note holder. I am also bringing in and gluing down a bumblebee from that ephemera packet. Placed my acrylic block over top to make sure that it adheres. And then bringing in some gems by Hero Arts. These are tiny blossoms gems to add some sparkle and shine. I'm adding a little craft tacky glue on the back to make sure that they adhere. I also add 2 of these to the focal panel. Let me know in the comments whether or not you've made an easel card before or any type of post-it note holder. So next I've flipped my post-it note cover over and am adding some double-sided tape over the entire back. Before removing the release paper on my double-sided tape, I am going to just position my holder, post-it note holder, on to my easel. Make sure I have it an idea of where I want to place it, then remove my release paper on my double-sided tape, and then get that lined up just so. And the post-it note cover holder is what stops the easel card. So inside of the easel card there is room for your message, and so you can add another piece of cardstock if you want it inside to write your message. And then of course, it does not lie flat, so it will fit in a 5x7 envelope, even though it's an A2 card, but with all the bulk, you need a 5x7. And this is definitely something you want to hand deliver, not try and mail. I guess if you were mailing it, you definitely want to pad it up and put it in a padded envelope or box. I love the way this turned out. Although it's for a teacher gift, it has a real inspirational theme. So I think it could be a gift for a college student, a parent, somebody that would want to have this setting on their desk. I had so much fun making this project. I hope you'll hop along with us with the Kendra Card Challenge 11 over on Instagram. And I will leave a link in the description below to my Instagram so that you can go over there and hop along. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, good day, friends.